I wake up one morning and I have an email, and it's like, oh, you have a message from somebody. It's the emails from Amazon. It was a message from a customer. I'm like, a customer? That must mean I made a sale. Like,
all right, everybody, welcome back to another case study. And today I'm joined by one of our members, Keith. We're going to talk about how he recently launched his Amazon business. Keith, how you doing, man?
good. What's going on, Steven?
I'm delighted to have you here, sir. And it's early morning for you. So thank you so much for getting up to chat to us. I appreciate it.
No, this is a pleasure. I've been looking forward to this. This is awesome.
Love it, man. Great. Well, we always start out on these interviews, as I'm sure you know, where I love to get a feel for you, what's your background? What did you do before you get into Amazon? And then talk us through, like, how did you hear about this thing of selling on Amazon? Where did you see it in the first place? Was it YouTube, wherever? Tell us a little bit about your background, and that would be great.
Yeah, so my background is actually science. I have a master's degree in biotechnology.
Cool.
And I work in chemistry department, and I teach chemistry. This whole business model thing, business is not something that I always really saw myself doing.
Yeah.
To me, business was, you go to school, you learn about the stock market, you get a job, wearing a suit, sitting in a cubicle, right? And that was just never for me. Yeah. Somehow one day I was at work, had a little bit of downtime. I was, fell into the YouTube canyon, watching some videos of what, I don't even know what, but and it popped up, and it was these two guys who were selling, an FBA program. I'm like, what is this FBA? And for some reason I clicked. I don't normally click on those types of things, but I clicked. I had no idea. Like, all these people, like all these products I'm getting are from, private sellers and businesses and whatever. I had no idea. So I started doing some more research and look into it, and I found a bunch of different programs.
Sure.
It took me over the process of like a week or two. I checked out a few different things, and I came across Marketplace Superheroes, and I was like, wow, these guys kind of look like they really have this stuff together. So I watched your webinar, and I signed up. I'm like, you know what? I'm in. This is great. I need to do something else. I need an outlet. This has always kind of been a part of me, the entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
I wanted to do something like this, but I never really had, let's say, the vehicle to do it. Yes. So I saw this, and it's like, this is perfect, Right. And over, there were some other things too that happened around that time, which I don't know, it's kind of taboo to say maybe these days, but I thank God for this.
Yeah, sure.
I just had like a few different signs all happen to me at the same time.
Yeah.
That was one. This video that I'd never seen, these two guys popping up, that was one. Again, back to YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm not on YouTube all day at work, I promise you.
No, I believe you.
But there's another video of Arnold Schwarzenegger giving his speech about how his parents wanted him to go into the family business, and he wanted to be a bodybuilder. And it's just such an inspirational speech. And he's like, the gist of it was, don't let the naysayers and the doubters get to you. What you want to do it. Because I kind of had that in the back of my head, like, I'm going to start my own business. People are going to say, what are you doing? Are you crazy? You throwing your money at this and whatever. Mm. So that was one. And then there was another one. There's a show on TV that I've never seen since. It's about a billionaire who gave up his money. I started with like $100,000 or something. And within like 3 months, he was going to make $1 million just starting with that 100. And I was watching him do this stuff and like buying and selling and flipping. And it was just so inspirational again. And then actually my final thing, I'm going to wrap this up.
Yeah, you don't watch videos all day. I know you don't. I believe you. Trust me, I believe you, Keith.
But so we were at church, and one of our priests is just so inspirational. He's a young guy. Yeah. And the wisdom that just comes from him is like mind blowing.
Good.
And his whole homily was, about discipline and how the way we discipline our children, God disciplines us. Mm-hmm. And it's like, why do you discipline your children? Because you want them to be better, right? They messed up somewhere and you want them to be better. It's like, how does God discipline you? What are you struggling with? Mm-hmm. And to me, like right away, I'm like, money. like I've always struggled with money. I don't have a lot of debt, right? The only debt I've really ever had is student loans.
Yeah.
I mean, aside from like my mortgage and cars. But I'm driving Hondas.
The list will get bigger. Let's stop going there.
Right.
I'm joking.
But I mean, I live in New York.
Yeah.
In the US, I live in Nassau County. We pay the highest taxes in the nation.
Yeah.
My wife and I both have graduate degrees, and yet somehow we still struggle. You know, we're living paycheck to paycheck for some reason. So money has just always been something that I struggle with. So, you know, he said this, I'm like I struggle with money. I always have. Yeah. And for me, those few things coming together, you know, it's like the perfect thing is like, you found this FBA thing, you found this program, do it. You know, this is for you.
I think as well, there's a lot to take away from that. Like a lot of people watching today will 100% resonate with what you're saying, Keith, because me too, you know, before I get into this whole thing, I talk about it a lot, as you know, and I struggled too with money because I was never taught and never knew to look in the right places to learn about money. And I feel that even with Marketplace Superheroes, one of the things, as you know, that we really teach is it's not just about selling on Amazon. It's about a new way of looking at money, a new way of looking at assets and resources. And it sounds like as well, you've made some shifts even in that thinking as well, before we even get into the Amazon stuff and what you've done. What would you think about that?
But I'm sorry, was that?
What would you say to that? Like, you sounds like you've made some changes in what you do believe about it.
Absolutely. I mean, mindset, obviously, or I think you like this, our mind shift or mind frame. You're
definitely listening. Mind flow, that's right. But you're definitely listening.
Mind flow, sorry.
That's cool.
But definitely mind flow has changed. You know, I am reading that book, the Millionaire Fast Lane, and like everything's like yes, like, you know, I was in a slow lane, make money. At my job, I put 5% into my retirement. They matched 10%. I'm like, you know, that's great. Which it is.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. Yeah,
absolutely not. But at the same time, like now I'm starting to see money in different ways. Like, oh, there's money here. Like getting into this whole thing, that's another thing. I had no money to start with. I didn't have a savings account. Like I had like maybe 2,000 savings.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to find the money for this. And I did, because I started looking elsewhere. Like, oh, there's money here I can reach. Oh, there's money over there I can get. You know, I have access to this stuff, you know, when I would never have considered touching that stuff. But now I'm taking that money. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take this and I can replace it. You know, I'm going to use this to make more money, and it's all going to be good. You know, it's going to go right back to what it is. So,
I think as well, a big thing that, and again, in different countries, like there's different standards of living, cost of living. Obviously, where you live, it's a very costly place to live. Yeah. That's just the way it is. It's okay, though. It's fine. But at the same time, one of the biggest thing for everybody, the world over, typically, even myself, was we were not making enough money. Incomes we make are fine. They only afford us a certain level of living and all of that. And I think as well, that's the big thing. It's like when you actually look at that slow lane versus fast lane from the book you're talking about, you realize, holy crap, like a lot of the skills that I currently possess are slow lane skills. And I've got to start looking at skills that enable me to create income more effectively, quickly, to get into markets where that's where the puck is moving. Because even with, just to say, not to take over this interview at all, but just to say, like, even with Marketplace Superheroes this year, pandemic hit. Of course, I, like everybody else, was like, oh, I wonder what happens next, right? But it's been really interesting because all of our companies have grown faster than ever during this time. And I think some of that for Marketplace Superheroes, certainly, is people saying, you know, finally thinking, you know, I'm going to do my own thing. I'm just going to get started. I'll build it up over time. On the Amazon side with our partners as well, Amazon's growing. So for you as well, it's interesting that like now you're in an industry that is in the increase, and you're learning skills that are valuable, that enable you to create income a lot more quickly. So I feel like that's something for people listening today. They're the things you got to do to free up money. But even how you change your thinking, it's like I always say, Keith, and it's not always a nice thought, right? But it's like if somebody had your family hostage, my family hostage, and we had to go and do something, we could do it because we had a reason, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. So it sounds like your reasons have changed a little bit too.
Right. So, and just back to my job, like I work at a university. I always thought my job was safe, right? And then this pandemic hits, and it's like all of a sudden I'm furloughed.
Yeah.
You know, I'm out of work for 2 months, and it's like, what just happened? You know, like I'm supposed to be in a solid, rock solid position. And then all of a sudden I'm not, you know?
Yeah.
And what if this happens? Like, you know, obviously nobody could have predicted this was going to happen.
Sure.
But it just changes the thought, like, oh, you know, like maybe I do need another income. Maybe I should be doing something else. You know, it's the multiple income streams.
Absolutely, man. And again, like I think the thing I take from you as well, I really love, I think it's important to say to other people, it's like a lot of times with the internet, people are really obsessed with, I want to be making $100,000 a month or these big figures, right? And it's not impossible. It's totally doable. However, that takes time, but also what you're looking at is better. It's like, I want to make even an extra $2-3 a month, that to start there, then I can grow it from there. Right. And that's kind of what you're looking at. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, my goal was, you know, I do have those big goals. I'm not going to lie.
Of course.
But
there's nothing wrong with that.
This start out as, you know, let me make some extra income, you know, supplement my income so I could, you know, not worry about money, you know, so I could go out to dinner with my family and be like, you know, it's not a problem. You know, you can go out to wherever, you know, a carnival or I don't know, whatever, you know, when society reopens, to the movie.
There's nothing open anymore.
Right. I think I can to the movies when I can, and it's $50, $60, you know, you know, so I just want a little bit extra money so I don't have to worry about things like that.
For sure. I love it. So tell us a little bit then, Keith. We've really established, and I love your transparency and what you're saying and what you're looking for. I think a lot of people will really resonate from today, the case study today. So let's talk a little bit about, you started the program, you started going through the process.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about what that looked like for you. How did you find the research? How long did it take you to get it down? That kind of thing.
So I just have to say, for some reason, I absolutely loved going through the slides in the program. I would look forward to it so much. And that's another thing. This actually has become more of a hobby for me. You know, so it's, you know, I'm building it, but I enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
So I would sit down, you know, I would do it at nighttime after work. I go in the laundry room because we have a desk in there. You know, I sit down, put it on my computer, put the headphones on, open a window, get a nice fresh breeze. And I would sit there taking my notes and going through the program. And it was great, you know? So then I started, actually it's probably, I forget the time frame. I want to say maybe 2 weeks after I signed up for the core program, I joined the Origin program.
Yes.
So I saw the value right away. Like I've been doing this for the past 2 weeks. I see what this is about. Now I have the ability to get mentored, you know, and make sure, like I knew I was going to succeed anyway, but now I'm going to be guaranteed to succeed.
Yep. So and again, you get a lot of these services you're already going to buy anyway, including.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You got the freight and everything. Like, it's funny because I didn't see it until afterwards how valuable those bonuses really are. Like it's unbelievable.
Good.
But so I joined the Origin program. I started going through it, you know, doing the research. So this was in the beginning of October, I think, or late September, October of 2019. I signed up for Origin. By December, I had my first product all ready to go.
Great.
And
there was a twist.
This was one of those bumps. One of those.
Yeah, and there was a twist.
So I had the product. I worked out all the details with the supplier.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I was supposed to leave China on the boat in late December.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, the supplier leaves. He left the company, my contact.
Wow.
I get passed over to somebody else. This guy is getting back to me once every couple of days, not really showing me, you know, anything.
Yeah.
After a week or two of that, I get transferred over to somebody else. And
God.
All contact was gone. All right. And this was my only source. Like I had contacted other suppliers. This is the only one that wanted to work with me.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you know, that product's gone. And then, you know, we had the Chinese New Year after that, and then the pandemic hit. So my next product didn't officially get here until this year, just a month or two ago. I actually placed the first order back in April. Actually, I had two products that I placed an order back in April.
Yep.
And then they've been selling for about 20-something days now. So
and how has that gone for you?
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. You know, so product number one that came here took a little time to get some sales, just check in every day, and
well, I know I read your post.
I know, I'm not emotional about it. So I was like, okay, it's curiosity,
Sure. Yeah.
Then I decided, you know what, it's not going. This one's going to take a little bit of time. So I started checking, on a weekly basis. And then product number 2 came in right around the same time, but it took longer for Amazon to get it checked in.
Yeah, with everything that was going on.
Right.
Yeah.
So it took about 4 weeks to get that one checked in.
Yeah.
So eventually that one hits. And I was like, I'm not going to, and that listing wasn't ready yet. Photos weren't great and everything. So I was going to take it down. I was going to take the listing down. I was, so I wasn't disappointed again. Then I decided, you know what, let me check my competitors again. And I looked at them like, this product, it's going up, the listings that it's going up against are not good. Photos are bad, listings are bad. Like, I'm just going to leave it up and see what happens.
Yep, good.
So I did, and but this time I wasn't checking every day. I was like, all right, I'm going to continue checking on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
So I wake up one morning and I have an email, and it's like, oh, you have a message from somebody. It's the emails from Amazon. It was a message from a customer. I'm like, a customer? That must mean I made a sale. Like, let me see. So I opened up my Sell Central app. Like, oh my God, I sold 3 of them.
Yeah.
So, it was great. It's a great feeling.
Sure.
And then, since then I've had sales every day. And then at one point, I was doing the math, like, so my product number 2 is retails for $11. It's a little bit on the lesser side.
Yeah.
But then I'm looking at the numbers that I sold and like, wait a minute, this doesn't add up. And all of a sudden I see, oh, look at that. Product number 1 made a sale.
Yeah.
So I was like elated. And since then, both of them have just been selling.
They're moving.
They're moving.
Yeah.
They're not 5 a day, but they're betting in and they're getting it. And, they're right where I want them for this.
I mean, even looking at that, like you're probably hitting pretty much like at least a run rate, if not actually doing pretty much like $1,000 a month in revenue about now.
I'm
$30 a day.
Like I said, I have about 10 days. I have about 10 days left, and I'm a little bit under that. So I think I'm going to hit probably around 900 for the month.
That's nothing wrong with that for your first month. It's good. And again, I think as well, in fairness with your story, had you not had the issue, had the pandemic not hit, you'd probably been in stock a lot longer than you have been, because obviously you've had a lot of people, there was a lot of things happen, and then there's certain things happen along the way, but it's all about sticking in. And these products are in stock now. They're making sales, heading towards $1,000 for your first. I'm placing my first reorder already for. There you go. Yeah, because that's it though. Because the thing about that, Keith, and it's interesting that things do. They do move the way you're talking about it. They're kind of moving slowly, but then you're probably even seeing it now. Some days maybe you're selling more, some days then a bit less. But then it's like anything. It's a trend line, as Robert always talks about.
Absolutely.
The trend line is the most important thing, because before you know it, like these items, even how I look at this is if an item only does $1,000 a month, $1,000 revenue a month, to me, it's still a good product, because if I have 100 of those, there's $100,000 a month, and 100 products that are making $30 in sales a day. It's not very hard. Like, that's pretty simple to do,
Right. Absolutely.
And you won't need 100, but you know what I mean?
Right. No, like I said, my first product is a lower price tag. It retails for $11. So my profit is only a couple dollars on it, but I'm selling them, so.
But it's your training wheels, man. You got your training wheels in, and now you've got the tell me a little bit about like how you feel like it's like the way everyone's trying to not pull the trigger, trying to, I don't, and now you've seen the other side, which is I'm selling and I'm going to look to reorder. How does that feel now when you're on the other side? How is your thinking changed now, do you think?
You know what? I mean, I always had faith in the system. Like, I never really needed that validation.
Sure.
But now that I have it and I see it, it's like, why didn't I find more money at the beginning and find more products to have them come in? And also to go along with that is, so I opened up in just the US alone. My first 2 products went to the US.
Yep.
I don't really know why I did that. I think it was because I didn't realize the cost to open up in the UK and overseas, in Europe.
Yeah.
And so for some reason, like I didn't have the numbers. So I wanted to keep money for products. So I was like, let me bring them into the US. I'll generate some revenue and then I'll open up. Sure. I wish I had, the cost is not that great. It's not that big of a difference.
Pretty small.
So I wish I had done that from the beginning.
Sure.
So now I have my third product, is going to be on the boat this month.
Brilliant.
I had a few hiccups with that too, as well. Sourcing my bonus for that, I ran into problems with that a few times actually.
Well, it'll never be just smooth. Nothing's ever smooth sailing ever.
Yeah. Yeah. But now this is going. It's leaving the boat. It's on the boat this month. It's coming over here to the US. It's going to the UK. It's going to Australia. Brilliant. Now my reorder, the first one is going to all three, continents as well.
Very good.
I have to reorder the second, same thing.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I kind of wish I had seen the money where it was earlier so I could get more products.
Sure.
But now that I have that, I'm working on products 4 and 5. And, for 2021, I'm looking, my goal is to generate, at least 5 SRNs,
Well, the thing I can tell about you already is you will, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, though, the second I can tell about you is I think you'd be in the future when your business is up and running operational. Another great example of a great coach in our world. Hopefully we can convince you when you're killing it to come on and be a coach, because that's it, man. It's like, I love these stories, because you're doing it, man. And you'll be doing 10, 20 grand a month quicker than you think,
Yeah. No, I mean, as far as coaching, I'm in.
Well, we'll get you there now. We'll get you going a bit more. But yeah.
Like I do, I teach now. And exactly. When I started this, I'm like, this is teaching another level, it's mentorship. Yeah. I'm like, I would love to be able to, take somebody and teach them this as well, and just see, it's kind of like, I guess, comparatively like raising a kid, I have 3 children, and watching them grow and everything is just, the greatest thing in the world. So to have that where you can teach somebody, watch them grow and better themselves in their lives, that's awesome. That's
amazing. It's great, but I mean, the cool thing with your business there, even now, is like, there's 3-4 products, all things remaining equal. Like, that would mean even with next one does pretty well, across the board, you could easily be doing $100 a day in revenue, no problem.
Yeah.
Probably more. So then you're up to $3,000 a month, which again, is great. It's a great place to be. And then it's just about building from there. And then what you'll find is a year, 18 months from now, it's unbelievable where things grow. Even our YouTube channel, like this one, we started this a couple of years ago. Then we didn't think about it in the right way. So we stopped and left it just sitting there for a long time. And then last year, I learned what to do with the channel. I learned the process and what I wanted to share with people like you, bring people like you on as well. And it's amazing, man. Like in a year, we had about 3,000 subscribers last August. And now we're at almost 13,000, less than a year, like pretty much a year later. Right. And again, next year we'll probably have like 40,000. And that's the thing, like the growth is not equal every year. So that's the thing, even for your business too, it'll be like, you'll have this massive percentage growth probably for a few years as you add in more products. And that's cool, because like, just because you're doing $1,000 in your first month or whatever it is, you'll be doing, you could be doing 10 grand a month in a year, depending on how many products you have and where you're selling them. So that's the exciting part for you right now, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens.
It's so exciting. And, I'm definitely going to keep everybody posted too. Like I'll post again 6 months or a year or whatever. Yeah. But it's exciting, and the best part is like in my post that I wrote too, like it's happening, and again, this is the goal of the business, but it's happening when I'm not even thinking about it. I'm making sales like, I haven't made a sales overnight while I'm sleeping yet though.
You will.
I'm and I'm on the eastern side, so nobody's awake.
Yeah.
But once I open up overseas, that'll happen.
Exactly. You'll make a lot in your sleep, and much better.
But that's a great thing. You're making money like while you're not even thinking about it. While you're not trying. You put in the effort here, and it comes back to you, and it's amazing. It's such a great business.
Well, I love that, man. Like I'm looking forward. Do let me know when you make that first sale in your sleep, because I look forward to celebrating that with you. And
yeah, absolutely.
And then what will happen though, man? It's so funny. And Robert and I were talking about this. We're going to do a podcast about it, but it's that thing of like, I remember that feeling when I first made my first sales while I was sleeping, way back 10 years ago. And it was really exciting. And like the excitement that you're getting now, You won't get the same excitement when you're doing much bigger numbers, which I know you don't believe me, but it's true.
Yeah.
But again, you'll be amazed what will happen here. And someone like you who's doing it, we will be here to support you every step of the way. And we'll find more ways to support people like you, because that's what it's all about. Doing it, man. So I'm really proud of you, Keith. Well done. Thanks for sharing your story. Great speaker. Absolutely. Great story. And it was great to hear the ups and the downs, along this journey to getting launched.
Everybody's gonna run into them ups and downs. As long as we learn from them, and keep going, great. Who cares if you get knocked down? You need
that though. Yeah, right. You
exactly.
need the adversity, because that levels up your capacity. Whereas if it was easy all the time, you wouldn't have to grow. Whereas obviously you obviously are religious and things like that, and even in those situations, it's a lot of times adversity is where you grow in that respect too. And it's the same thing here,
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. You fall over, get back up.
Exactly. And you got to have faith.
Just like that's the story. Right.
Yeah. And you keep moving forward like you have done, with the faith that it's working, and it's great. And that will be repaid down the line for you, man.
Yeah. Great. Absolutely. Great.
Keith, it's a great chat, man. Thanks very much for coming on.
You too, Stephen. This has been awesome.